If you're thinking about moving to Champaign Urbana, Illinois, I'm going to tell you the top 3 worst and the top 3 best things about living in Champaign Urbana. If we haven't met yet, my name is Brock Collins, and I'm your local real estate agent right here in the Champaign Urbana area. So I make these videos for people who are moving to Champaign Urbana to help you get a better feel for the area. And so today, I'm going to share with you the top 3 things that I love and I hate about living in Champaign, Illinois. Real quick before we get started, if you're thinking about buying a home in the Champaign Urbana area, here's my gift to you. I'm going to give you unlimited access to search all homes for sale in the Champaign Urbana area so that you can get started today for finding that perfect home. You can get this right now by going to 217hometours.com and begin your unlimited home searches today. All right, so let's get started about one of the worst things that you get to experience when you move to Champaign Urbana. It's the winters. Number one thing on the worst things in Champaign Urbana is the winters. Here's why. Most of the winters, you're going to find it's going to be gloomy and gray and overcast, and it kind of takes your energy away a little bit. We see the sun in the wintertime just a little bit, not very much. And so since that sun usually energizes us as people, it makes us maybe a little bit less to want to get outside and do things. So it's cold, it's icy, it's snowy, and it's pretty similar in other areas around the Midwest. But wintertime is one of my least favorite things here in Champaign Urbana. All right, number 2. The number 2 worst thing about living in Champaign Urbana is airport access. Airport access. Like if you need to get somewhere quick, it's pretty difficult to do in our area. Now, we do have an airport. It's called Willard Airport. It's located just on the southern tip of the city of Champaign. It's owned by the University of Illinois. So they do have flights. It is open to the public. However, the flights are pretty limited. A lot of gets you connects to Chicago and other areas, but it's a very small airport, very limited options. So that's one thing that which hits my number 2 on the list that I just don't like that much. Now, in fairness, there are within driving distance, about 45 minutes from Champaign, is another regional airport, has a lot more options. And then also we're about 2 hours away from Indianapolis and about 2 to 2.5 hours away from Midway and O'Hare, the bigger airports in Chicago. So there are options, but it's a little less convenient living right here in Champaign Urbana. Okay, so number 3 is what I affectionately refer to as move-in day. And you might be saying, Brock, what in the world are you talking about? What's move-in day? All right, so every fall on the University of Illinois campus, about 40,000 students make their way back in a very short time. It's between a 1 to 2 week period of chaos, absolute chaos. So typically the streets are pretty calm, things are good. And when the students come back, it's not just the students, it's their friends, it's their family, it's their parents, their uncles, their aunts. And all of a sudden, Champaign Urbana is absolutely congested with traffic. So traffic is one thing on move-in day, right? However, as the students make their way to their brand new apartments that are empty, they have nothing in them, the very first thing they like to do is run to the grocery stores. So if you're local here and you're doing your daily or your weekly trip to the grocery store, you're going to find the lines incredibly long for a week or two. So move-in day is something that I'm not very fond of, but I'm thankful that the students come back, and I know it's just a process, and we work around it. So one of the things that we locals do is when this time comes back, move-in day, what we do is we do our shopping really early in the morning, and hopefully the students and their families are pretty tired from the move and getting ready that they're going to go out a little later. So that's kind of we plan around it just a little bit. But move-in day is something to get used to, but the good news is it's very short-lived. Okay, enough about me being a negative Nelly. Now let me share some things with you that I really love about living in Champaign Urbana. The number one thing I love the most are the seasons and as they change. So in this area of the Midwest, we have 4 seasons. We have spring, summer, fall, winter. And I already told you I'm not real affectionate to winter. Some of you might love it. That's awesome. So that means one more thing off the list you don't have to worry about, right? But the seasons are amazing here. So spring, let me just talk about spring. It's almost magical here when spring comes around. We've had, a cold, rainy, slippery, snowy winter, and then spring slowly sneaks in. Okay, and so when it happens, we start seeing the trees budding, the leaves starting to grow, the flowers are starting to come up and just being really pretty. The grass starts to get green. It's very beautiful to watch the sleepy, the dormant things come back to life every spring. It's very pretty. Also, as we feel the temperatures start to change and the warmth coming right back up, right? So that leads us into summertime. And in the summertime in the Champaign-Urbana area, it's absolutely beautiful. I remember 30 years ago or so, the summer times were so hot you couldn't stand it. I'm not sure why it's not like that anymore, but there's very little bit of really hot days. Okay, but there's so many activities to do in the Champaign-Urbana area in the summertime. There's every Friday night, the downtown Champaign area, they close it down and they have outdoor activities. They have bands, and sometimes they shut the streets down so people can just walk from shop to shop. We have all kinds of hiking. We have boating lakes just a short drive away. There's so many activities to do in the summertime. In fact, as locals, this is one of the favorite seasons, and we like for it to not go away, but we know everything has a season, and so it does. But what we're met with next after that is the fall. And the fall is magical all by itself, because as the temperatures start to cool and the season is changing into fall, the leaves on the trees around here turn absolutely brilliant colors. And I don't mean just one color. Some trees are one color, some trees are 10 or 15, and it's so beautiful to watch them change. And now what that leads us into winter. Again, not my favorite time. Some of you love it, which is fantastic. But I love the seasons and how they change. It always just breathes new life into the area. So love the seasons. All right, number 2. This is one of the things I love the most, and I think you're going to love it as well. So listen, the Champaign-Urbana area has all the big city amenities with the small town feel. And it's really hard to find this kind of atmosphere. So we have everything you can possibly imagine or need is right here in our community. There's no real reason unless you just want to take a day trip to disappear in. So our city is set up in such a way that you can get from one end of the city to the other in 10 to 15 minutes. So you can get just about anywhere in Champaign-Urbana in 10 to 15 minutes. Now, I have friends that live in the big cities with big city amenities and the big city feels, and some of them have a 2 to 3 hour commute back and forth to work every single day because they're stuck in traffic. So you won't have to worry about that here. The city is laid out just amazing, and it's very quaint, small town atmosphere, and I think you're going to absolutely love it here. Okay, so the third and final thing that I think you'll absolutely love about living in Champaign-Urbana is how the growth has been sustained and created so healthily. And what I mean by that is, years ago there was new commerce, lots of pretty much every shopping you can think of built on the north side of Champaign. Okay, when that was done, that had a lot of growth, and then we started having growth on the southwest side of the Champaign, the city of Champaign. And so what they did with that is they brought commercial structure, commercial shops, grocery stores out to that area. So what you'll find, especially in the city of Champaign, is that wherever you live in the city, the north, east, south, or west side, you're going to have amenities that you need, that you are hoping for, and you typically don't have to drive really far across town to get to anything. It was built and structured in such a way that everything is close by the properties. So I think the cities have done a really good job of putting things where they should be, rather than having the entire structure maybe 15 miles away that everyone has to drive to. It's all been put together very healthy, very naturally. I feel like they did a wonderful job, and the cities still continue to grow today. So I hope you found a lot of value in this video if you're considering moving to Champaign-Urbana and just kind of want to know what it's like living right here in the Champaign area. All right, so listen, be sure, if you're thinking about moving here and you want to buy a home, be sure to get your access to unlimited home searches right now. You can do so at 217hometours.com and just sign up. You'll get unlimited access, so you can start right now looking for that perfect home for you and your family. If you have any real estate questions that I can help you with along the way, please feel free to reach out. It would be my pleasure to represent you and help you buy that perfect home right here in the Champaign Urbana area. I'm Brock Collins, your local real estate agent. Thanks again for watching this video.